thousands of fish fall victim to red tide algae in Florida. Toxic algae has wiped out droves of Southwest Florida's marine life. According to the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, red tide algal blooms can produce neurotoxins, which are lethal to fish. The algae is also deadly to birds, turtles, manatees, and dolphins. A red tide bloom 150 miles long was observed last month in Southwest Florida. It reportedly reached the Tampa Bay area over the weekend. The algae can also cause hypoxia to fish via oxygen depletion in water. Red tide can be harmful to humans if the neurotoxins become airborne, or by eating infected shellfish. Symptoms of infection can include coughing and irritated eyes, although people with respiratory conditions may suffer more serious complications. Big and blue.
Sea turtle caught in $53 million worth of blow. You know how the life of a sea turtle goes? Wake up, swim, 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 and then by Splinter's tail, where did all this Bolivian marching powder come from? That was the case for this shellhead, who was found by the U.S. Coast Guard entangled in 53 mil worth of floating yayo in the eastern Pacific this week. Word is all this blow weighed 1.8 tons. According to a post on their Facebook page, the coasties spotted the wired reptile earlier this week while on patrol and went to sort it out. They set their turtle free, but said he received a chafing to his neck and flippers. Here's another reason why you should bin your trash. Canadian fisherman Adam Turnbull caught this fish last week and was shocked to see it was nearly split in two by a Powerade wrapper. Turnbull reckons that trash thrown near the river probably got into the water and somehow wound up around the fish. Despite its injury, Turnbull told Canada news site Global News it still fought when he caught it. Shocked by the northern pike's injury, Turnbull posted images of it to Facebook last week in a post that has gone viral. Turnbull says he cut the wrapper and put the fish back in the water. He says it swam away like a dart. Moral of the story? Put your trash in the trash can.
Thousands of sharks found on illegal fishing boat. It's the second largest ocean sanctuary on Earth and protects one of the planet's most unusual and diverse marine ecosystems. But it seems that not even the protected waters of the Galapagos Marine Reserve are safe from China's insatiable demand for shark fin. Shocking evidence has emerged this week that once again underlines the threat to these magnificent creatures' very existence. And all because people want to use their fins to make soup. Photos released by Ecuador's Galapagos National Park show a haul of thousands of sharks found on an illegal Chinese fishing boat. Endangered scalloped hammerheads and silky sharks have been identified among their number. The ship was reportedly carrying 300 tons of fish. The 300-foot-long vessel was intercepted by the Ecuadorian Coast Guard last Sunday, about 40 miles northeast of the island of San Cristobal. Its 20 crew members have been arrested, and the authorities are now trying to document its cargo. This part of the Galapagos National Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and home to more sharks than anywhere else on Earth. Merely crossing into its waters without a permit is illegal, never mind hunting for sharks. So as you can see from this map, here off the coast of Ecuador is the Galapagos Islands. And here, about 10,000 miles away, is China. Kind of a long way for a fishing trip, don't you think? Despite its scientific importance, the Galapagos National Park lacks funding to protect its ecosystem. The Ecuadorian government says it has a zero-tolerance policy for illegal wildlife trafficking. However, China is Ecuador's biggest creditor and provides around 60% of government funding. Critics say the Ecuadorian government has gone too easy on China in the past over the protection of timber and other resources from the Amazon rainforest. So it remains to be seen if the illegal fishing crew will get the 3 years in the slammer that conservationists are now demanding.
Alligators versus sharks. Don't like sharks? Then gators might be your new best pal. Research published in the journal Southeastern Naturalist details alligators eating sharks around the coasts of Georgia and Florida. Alligators' diets typically consist of shellfish, fish, and some mammals. Researchers pumped the stomachs of 500 alligators and found small sharks and stingrays inside some. Alligators mainly hunt in freshwater, but can sip rain during storms from the water's surface to prolong their time in saltwater. The research also considered cases of sharks eating alligators and old reports of mass battles between the predators during floods. Notably, they look at a case from the late 19th century where sharks were attracted to fish blood from alligators feeding. The researchers say a storm and flooding washed the alligators out to sea. And it's there that the sharks attacked. It might soon be a permanent game over for coral reefs. Warming waters are hurting the world's coral reefs almost 5 times more than they did 30 years ago. Scientists looked at bleaching data in 100 coral reefs. They found that the frequency of bleaching from warmer waters increased 5-fold from once every few decades to once every 6 years. Bleaching occurs when the reef reacts to stressful changes in temperature, light, nutrients, and other conditions. This makes the reef eject the symbiotic algae in their tissue and turn pale white. Corals can survive and even recover, but continued bleaching eventually leads to death. According to the National Ocean Service, coral reefs are considered sessile animals, meaning they're fixed to one place. The World Wildlife Fund says they provide almost $30 billion in goods and services every year. They're also important for tourism, coast protection against heavy storms, typhoons, and even tsunamis. The dangers of blowfish toxin. Japanese authorities sent out an emergency warning in a coastal city on Monday after several packages of fugu, or blowfish, were mistakenly sold to unsuspecting customers. A grocery store in Gamagori accidentally sold 5 packages of assorted blowfish meat with its poisonous parts still intact. 3 of the packages have been recovered, but 2 have yet to be found. The liver and internal organs of blowfish are known to contain tetrodotoxin, a lethal neurotoxin 1,200 times more potent than cyanide. One fish has enough poison to kill 30 adult humans. Tetrodotoxin targets motor neurons, causing numbness in the lips, loss of muscle control, and organ paralysis. A fatal dose could lead to respiratory arrest and death. There is no known antidote. Despite the danger, blowfish meat is a delicacy in Japan, but because of the high risk, only rigorously trained and licensed chefs are allowed to prepare the deadly fish. There are still those who die from blowfish poisoning, though these are mostly amateur cooks or sports fishermen who try to cut up the fish themselves.
Study says ocean farming could provide all the seafood we need. New research suggests that ocean farming could be enough to fill much of the global demand for seafood. Researchers suggest a farm area the size of Lake Michigan could satisfy the world's current demand for seafood. Their study says that an ocean area of 11.4 million square kilometers could satisfy fishing demands, while 1.4 square million kilometers would be needed for bivalve seafood, such as oysters. However, experts commenting on the study say that while space isn't a limitation for the expansion of ocean farming, costs for operation, production, and transportation could be. Climate change and how humans interact with large-scale ocean farms are another factor that could impact the feasibility of relying on ocean farming.